You are watching Travel World Online.
So good evening to everyone. My name is Greesh Bindra and I've been in the hospitality business for over 30 years now. And we all know what we are facing these days with this pandemic, and it is really upsetting for a lot of us. Moving forward from here, firstly, I want to actually thank Anil Sharma from Travel World Online to actually get us to do this show here. I was just wondering what we should do. So we had a discussion and I told Anil maybe we should get someone who is the father of technology, someone who's been in the business for over 25 years. And then I roped in Alakh Verma, who's actually the CEO of Centriqe, sitting in the US. And of course, right now it is 8 o'clock in the morning there. And I thought we'll pull him in and get some gen on technology and how to move forward in these new normal that is coming up with us. Now, before I get there, technology, of course, is very important for hospitality. I also think that, there are a few things that hospitality cannot lose. One is, of course, the touch and then the trust. I think these two things are basically inborn in a veteran who's been in hospitality for a long time. Apart from these, one now moving forward has to look at contactless stuff. So that's why I thought we will get in Alakh and understand from him where he can take us and what he can tell us about technology, how we can move forward in hospitality with his help. So I'm going to introduce now to Alakh Verma. Alakh, welcome. I'm going to move on from here just to ask you how we can move ahead getting technology involved with hospitality. For example, I have a question for you. How do you see technologies like, process automation and artificial intelligence? How do you think they're going to help in this current situation? You know what the situation is all about in globally. So what are your views on this?
Excellent and very good morning, viewers, and thank you, Anil, for hosting us on this Travel Online program. And I'm so delighted to be part of this. As Greesh ji was just mentioning, that hotel industry is bleeding currently due to pandemic, and India is not the exception all across the globe. I mean, we are suffering since last 4 months, complete lockdown. Hotel revenue has come to zero. In fact, one of the senior hotelier was mentioning that we have always measured the sales revenue decrease or reduction of the sales revenue by 30%, 20%, but suddenly it has gone to the level zero, and business has completely stopped. This is the bleeding situation. Many hotels are getting sold off. In the US, I was talking to some of the people, and when I'm introspecting and re-examining the landscape of businesses across the board, I think that there is still a ray of hope, because this situation is not going to be there forever, right? So we have to accept and embrace the change which has come in. Now, let's say pandemic has caused that change, and that is where I talked about agility. So in one of my publications, which I wrote in the book, business leaders need to respond to the change. Change will keep coming like this. Sometimes natural disasters, sometimes pandemic like this, sometimes business economy downturn. And we need to be prepared with a solid technology, process, and customer engagement or the guest engagement, so that their behavior will keep changing. But are we geared to support that behavioral changes? So you talked about two things, how technology can play a very important role. Let me touch one first. So let's say in this COVID situation where guest is not coming to the hotel, obviously we need to now talk about what is the process change you are going to bring in to your hotel. How to get the confidence back, let's say after a month or two, when guest is really trying to get back in terms of doing some activities which they will like to do, not within their premises of home, but maybe under your outdoor location within the hotel. Are you prepared to make the change happening with that kind of setup? Are you giving them the confidence that they should be fearless, that they are all secure in terms of any kind of no infection around, right? So those are the process change which we'll be talking about, and how we can do the process automation. If I'm coming from the US, how should I make the reservation to your hotel? Can I be able to get it from my smart device? Can I also make the room on that without doing anything on looking at the whole premises within that? So I'm now talking about the virtual reality of your hotel. So that sitting at home in Silicon Valley, I should be able to click through every possible detail of your hotel, and on the smart device, I should get full awareness what service you offer, what kind of property you have, what kind of facilities you offer, what kind of catering you offer, all of those. And then I should be also be empowered by somebody to handhold me. That is where the guest engagement comes in. Are you also enabling me to have a phone call which guests can interact with? So I'll talk about, first of all, you're giving me digital assistant, which should be talking to me on the phone. If I'm able to get all the details through the virtual images, the videos enabled by the chatbot or digital assistant, if still I'm stuck, are you able to give me the phone call on which I press the phone button, somebody from your office calls, and I'm able to make the reservation to your hotel? That is called contactless check-in or reservation process. Now, if I'm coming to your hotel after 7 days, before 7 days itself, you have handholded and got me on the whole system. Now, once I land up in your premises, how you're entering, how you're allowing me to get the room. Am I need to wait there in the reception, or everything I have on my smart device? If I have everything on a smart device, only thing the concierge should be able to take my suitcase or my luggage and take to the room. I have my all details, and I will show it to you in a minute, Greesh, how system empowers the guest on the smartphone which the guest is carrying. You can provide the reservation details, you can provide the room details, you can also provide the door key number, touch number, or with a scan number, so that I'm not touching anything. I'm just walking in, door opens through your concierge with 6 feet distance. Now I know I have to go to 302, that is my room number. I just get to the elevator and I have submitted all my documentation online to you, including my passport number, including passport copy, Aadhaar card copy, PAN card copy, my Visa card copy, all that you have validated. Still, if you need, you allow me to press the button print, the document gets printed at your printer. That is the level of process automation I'm talking about. I will come to artificial intelligence later, but let's see whether that helps in your current hotel situation.
No, I think what you said is absolutely head on, because I think that artificial intelligence and stuff that you mentioned is the need of the hour, and that is what is required moving forward. But tell me one more thing. It's very good for people to understand and to know that this is what we are doing. But I would just like to take a step back and talk about some of the stakeholders, some of the senior, the vice presidents of the hotel, who have to actually invest in these things. So I would also like to check with you, from your point of view, how do you think these technologies are going to help in bringing profitability or any control that you can have on profitability in a hotel? Because these are something that every stakeholder, every owner, every senior executive of a hotel would like to know and look forward to. So from your point of view, what is your feel? What is your take on control on any of the hotels on profitability?
This is a very important point, Greesh, as you're mentioning, because most of the stakeholders, the owners or the property managers, they would like to see how they can do more with less, right? So that your profitability can go up. Now, obviously, there are two ways to look at it. One is to increase the revenue. So how can you increase the revenue per property so that more guests should come in? So aggressive contactless marketing, personalized marketing based on the loyalty program and the guest relationship, which you have to do it. And I'm sure most of the hoteliers are doing it. But the important element of it, how can we dynamically reduce the cost of operation as well? Now, who can guide the hotel general managers or the hotel owners that how you can reduce the cost on a daily basis? Now, in the US, what we are practicing, the new way of doing things are gig economy. That means most of the people are on contract in the hotel business. They have started redefining the payroll. Instead of having monthly payroll for all the staff, you should go onto the contract terms of engagement. It could scale up or scale down depending on the guest coming into the hotel. Now you can imagine that currently you have no revenue coming in. No guests are checking in, right? So you have to go back to your basics, that how can I reach out to my all existing guests? You have got some guest record already. You have thousands and thousands of guests who have come in, stayed with you, and you have the guest loyalty system which should communicate to them. Now, as Centriqe, we empower the general managers to establish artificial intelligence-based, proactive, personalized communication to all the guests. Now, that is very important. Now, if guests are receiving communication from you as general manager with a personalized email that you are ready now to open after COVID with complete security measures or health measures of post-COVID, what is required to be done, they need to know that you have taken all cares. And you start sending them a little bit of video clips, how your hotel is doing it. So that sitting in here, I will see that Greesh ji is taking care of his hotel in such a way that when I come there, I will not have any infection of COVID. That is first communication. You can also send communication, which Centriqe is doing artificial intelligence way. You are not sitting on your computer and sending email by each guest. We'll select the guests, we'll select the record of, let's say, 1,000 guests who have stayed with you and start addressing based on their personal social profile. That is very meaningful to the guest who has stayed with you. Now, that is to bring them back to your hotel. They should not go to any online travel agents. You all know, Greesh, that OTAs are killing your revenue, 10 to 15% margin if I book through the TripAdvisor, or if I book through Expedia, or if I book through MakeMyTrip.com, right? You have to give 10 to 15% margin to them. That is eating away your profitability. Can you get those guests back directly through your online system, reservation system? You have to work towards it. We will empower you to do that. That is number one, saving. Coming back to the guest lifetime value. If I have stayed with you, you know what is my potential. You can classify the guests coming from the US, Australia, Middle East and Africa. They are your deep pocket guests. They will not care in terms of investment or expenditure when they come and stay with you in the hotel. In India as well, if you have the business traveler, you can classify them based on their earning category, and you will be able to target them based on that. These are the things which are means to reach out to the guest and start building up the profile. Now, I'm talking about reducing the cost. Ask Buddy from Centriqe is a process automation system. Believe me, that is automating a lot of processes which your floor people, the shop floor, or your reception, your guest service team, or the F&B team should be able to perform without being there. Now, process automation is one element which can be done through Ask Buddy or digital assistant. I'll give you an example. If I'm checking in your hotel, I have a smart device and I have the digital companion from your hotel, which is enabling me to order the food online. That is what I need to do. I don't need to call anybody. My food is served on the room. I need to do any booking for, let's say, room. I can do that on the room. These are things can help, and my metrics indicate that out of 10 people, we can reduce 8 people with the help of Centriqe Ask Buddy system. So you can see that if month on month, you are reducing the cost of your operation, Human resource is a major cost, Greesh. You all agree with us. And that is where we will impact, not compromising on the quality of service. The guest experience, that is important. And we are with metrics that will increase your net promoter score. We will also reduce your overhead on the daily basis, dynamically. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I think that's actually hitting the point directly on, because I also think that there's also one more aspect that can come in, because you also cut down the percentage of an error that can actually happen by a human being, because once it's all mechanized, it's happening technically, it you will not do a mistake that a human being can do. So I think because that just comes and it shows up and pops up, for example, if it's guest history or it's anything, because especially for a chain hotel, if you're going from one hotel to the other, they will know straight away that this is what this guest likes, and before he gets there, it's all ready and kept in the room. Because I think these little things make a lot of difference. I think that really can go a long way. I just want, in the end, to ask you, what kind of a message would you like to give some of our leaders who are listening in on this relationship between hospitality and technology moving forward? Because I think this is as far as I'm concerned, now it's becoming 100% on. With the new normal, and especially for some of the smaller hotels. There are a lot of, in India, we have a lot of assets that are 40 rooms, 50 rooms in small towns. So what kind of a message would you like to give those stakeholders, those general managers, those senior leaders, that how does technology actually fit hand in glove with hospitality?
This is very important, a point you mentioned about that. Most of the business leaders sometimes who are not technology by by their discipline, they get scared or worried that how I'm going to bring the technology to my hotel business, well, but you shouldn't have the fear. You shouldn't be fearful that, hey, if I bring this artificial intelligence or robotic system, then what will happen to my people? Because we have seen in the era of computer, people are saying, if computer comes, then we will lose the job. But I'm assuring you that if you embrace the technology, you are making your people more empowered. You are making your people more reliable. You are making your people more trustworthy for you. Right? You are not going to replace, rather you are using the resources more skillfully. The same people who are doing mundane tasks, you don't want to do that mundane task over and over again. Let them do some more creative work, right? So with these technologies, what we are talking about, it's in Centriqe, what we are building is empowering people. Now, some example I'll give you in the F&B, food and beverage. Now, chefs are getting empowered for their recipe. Now, sometime, if you're going to organize the event, I'll give an example. You will not replace the chef every time, but the guest may request, I need to have this kind of catering. I need to have this kind of recipe. I need to have Asian fusion with Indian catering. How can you cater? You don't have that skill set within your F&B. Now, can we empower you with artificial intelligence recipe management? We provide the chef with all the guidance, what is going to be provided with the video tutorial. Now, chef is performing exactly what system can enable. Now, he is able to provide that. Now, similarly, fusion technology, which we are talking about, with virtual reality. Now, I'm empowering your people. This technology is empowering your people to see what can be done, right? In terms of enabling them, empowering them, performing them. And that is what we need to have from your people, right? To get the confidence. Trust, you mentioned. Trust and touch. That is important. I'm not compromising on either of this. We are not losing the touch just by offering the whole services on the smart device. Still, I want to see your receptions. I wanted to see good smiling face on the reception, right? But I don't need to all the time get a smiling face. I need to have activities to be performed. That activities can be done on the smart device. I can also see the people who are coming on my restaurant. If the restaurant guest is coming there, I need to see somebody to talk to me with a safer distance initially. Post-COVID, the distance will come closer, but at the same token, if I have the menu in my hand, I can order on my smart device, I can order my food, I can also pay the bills on my smart device. That is the technology which I'm talking about. If you can do that, your people would be getting rid of generating the bills, generating the KOT, all of that, and bringing to the guest, right? Those things I'm talking about. Hope I give the message to all the hotel leaders that embrace the technology. Do not be fearful. And this is not an expensive ask, of this. You can afford it. You can pay per month. You can reduce the cost of overheads. Is invest here so that will return of investment will be much higher than what you're currently battling with.
Great. I think that is a very strong message for all our stakeholders and the senior leadership of hospitality. And I think this is what one has to look forward to now, moving ahead with, we've actually had a very rough time the last 3 to 4 months, and hospitality, especially in our country, has been hit the worst. And I think these kind of innovations are very important for us to move forward and ensure that we all work together and keep technology hand in glove and see that we prosper and bounce right back like you did. Alakh, thank you so much for giving us this information and enlightening us with your technology bit. And of course, I would also like to thank Anil for giving us this opportunity for sharing this space and of course talking to the hospitality audience in the country. Thank you so much.
Alakh, I have got a question. When we talk of chatbots, in case of a customer comes to you, a repeated customer, can you have an active chatbot where I can tell him, whenever I come next this, I want this. So the moment I check in, then I talk to chatbot, I need this, and then he can in turn transform it to the management.
This is exactly what this chatbot or digital assistant is designed for, because that is the active conversation between the guest and the chatbot. There's no doing that. It's based on the knowledge base which is created. Chatbot is answering all the questions what guest is asking dynamically, real time. And when the chatbot is finding difficulties, immediately connecting to the live person. So live person could be your front office manager. Front office manager picks up the phone and starts answering. But imagine 70 to 80% of questions are already answered by chatbot. Is it not the saving the time and the overhead of the people? That is the direct impact I'm giving, the cost saving.
Thank you very much. This can transform the whole hospitality industry. I'm sure about this.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on this show. And I definitely see that the technology is transforming business across the industry. Hospitality is to invest first because they are right now completely out of business. They're bleeding. Good luck. And thank you, Anil, for hosting me. Thank you, Greesh, for a very good interaction with you.
You are watching Travel World Online.